You know, one of my many unearned privileges is to have 20 beautiful acres down here in central Minnesota to raise my family. So many different habitats. There's several kinds of wetland, class 2, class 3, tamarack, peat bog, savanna, basswood maple forest, and I'm just so lucky to have different kinds of water to look at. Got some lakeshore here, 700-800 feet on this private little lake. There's the peat bog, and got a little river that runs through here. All the water in this watershed comes underneath my driveway through this little 19-inch piece of pipe I put in years ago. Hey, I see something. What the? It's a message in a bottle. It's from Jared Beeger in Section 74, our online class, your colleague. This is Johnson. I just watched the 10th video. I guess I didn't know what an essay is. Some of the essays in the Lopata anthology tell stories. What a great question. What a great comment, Jared. I want to thank you for this, and this prompts me to want to talk to you about essays. You're not the only one who might be out there and be a little bit fuzzy on what an essay is, and where it comes from, and why we write them. Let's go back to my glass porch and we'll have some talk about this. I really appreciate that message that Jared sent me in that bottle. The one about in which he wonders about the different forms that the essay can take. Obviously, from that message in the bottle that was from a scene that was not all contrived, we realize that email can take different forms too. But I thank you for that question, Jared, and I thank you for your permission to read that email aloud to your colleagues in Section 74. You are right. Essays can take many different forms, but probably really we should start from the beginning. I asked my students last week in my face-to-face classes at Central Lakes College, what's an essay? Tell me what an essay is. I defy you to tell me what an essay is. You've been writing them for years. What is an essay? And they were stymied. They kind of had an idea that it was thoughts on paper representing the thinking of a certain single person, etc. But they really had a little bit of trouble laying their hands on a definition. And we don't really need to get fancy when we think about essays and what they are. Jorge Luis Borges famously said that nobody is the literary atom. In other words, nobody has invented a literary form. He's a little bit wrong on that. As much as I adore that Argentinian writer, St. Augustine, for instance, was the first person who wrote an autobiography in the late 400s. He was the first person to whom it occurred, I should sit down and tell my entire life story. No one had ever done it before that. And we have a particular nation, as far as I'm concerned, to thank for the essay. Or if you don't like essays, if you don't like reading them, if you don't like writing them, we've got a country to blame, and that's France, okay? It's the French. They more or less invented the essay. It was guys like René Descartes and Montaigne who created it as a literary form. It's been with us in some senses since the beginning of writing, but as a literary art form, as far as I'm concerned, it goes back to the 1600s. It's possible that Montaigne's Of Cannibals was the first recognizable essay. So what is an essay? I'm going to give you an informal definition that's really not out of any book. It's just kind of out of my head. It's this. An essay is an artifact of prose that is relatively brief, and it's created by a person who sits down at a table like this and picks up a piece of paper and maybe a pen, or in this century a keyboard, and says to themselves, you know what? I think I know something about a particular topic. And now I'm going to sit down and I'm going to write about it for a little while. And then I'm going to take that artifact of prose and maybe give it to another person. Maybe I'll have it published. That's all an essay is. That's all it is. It's really nothing more than that. An artifact of prose that represents the thinking and maybe the beliefs of one person. And I have to tell you, I think that's a pretty good definition. It works. And I love reading essays. I wouldn't be doing this work if I didn't love them. You know, who's got time for novels? They take forever. I gotta admit something to you. I haven't read very many, and I've got a master's degree in English, and I've been teaching English all the livelong day for a quarter century. Novels get me tired. sometimes I'm looking ahead to see how many pages are left in the chapter, and I've read a few hundred, but they wear me out. I love poetry. I've read tens of thousands of poems in my life, and I have read thousands and thousands of essays by students and professionals. When I get tired of reading student writing or get a little bit wore out by it, maybe late in the evening, you know what I do? I pick up New Yorker magazine and I take a break and read more essays. It's just a literary form that I adore. And Jared is absolutely right. This little pot version, this anthology that I got you, is full of all kinds of different essays. They take many different forms. If you pick this up, as Jared has, and as Jared has picked it up and interrogated it, we find that there are many, many different types of essays. We can classify them in different ways. In fact, we can begin to classify them along the modes of writing that I talked to you about a few weeks ago when I was standing in front of those goofy cows. You'll remember there's a mode called persuasion. There's a mode called self-expression. There's a mode called exposition in which we convey information. And some people, like Borges, his essay in here that we've read already on blindness, that essay is so beautiful. As far as I'm concerned, it aspires to literature. If you pick this up, like you can any anthology of essays, it's cool. Work for 15, 20 minutes, read an essay, it feels like you've gotten something done. You'll find self-expressive essays in here, maybe that are confessional. Sometimes people do stuff that they shouldn't, and some people keep it quiet, other people write about it. You're going to find persuasive essays in here, and that's our next rhetorical mission in this course for everybody. So my 8 o'clock people, my 9:30 people, and section 74, my fully online people. You're going to make an argument and you're going to back it up. That's a very important mode of writing. Jared's right. There are essays in here that are narrativo. They're narratives. They tell stories. That E.B. White essay that we've read already, Once More to the Lake. What is that but a story? Kind of a short story in essay form. You can find essays that are exposition all in nature. Those of you that take Comp 2 are going to write a research paper in there. That's a research essay. Exposition conveys information. It's informative. They can be playful, they can be serious, they can be tragic. They can take many forms. And the thing I wrote Jared back in my email response to him, that I also sent in a message in a bottle, backwards up the Mississippi River. We're making a movie here. There's my wife. Do you want to, well, anyway. I forgot what I was saying. Oh yeah, I sent an email message as a message in a bottle to Jared up the Mississippi River, out that little stream there that eventually connects to it. You'll get it in a few months, Jared. My response was, when you pick up a book of professional essays like this, don't get the idea that you've got to mimic or imitate what's in here. The essays that we write for school are a little bit different in here than what's in here. And we're going to delve into that as we go on here. We're not just writing one type of essay in this class. We're going to write, we've already started out with a French style essay where I said, with the A to Z business. Write out the alphabet A to Z, write out 26 things that each letter signs and signifies for you, and then pick out one of the things that you can write about. That couldn't have been more French, right? I had a student take L and they wrote about love. I've got a student in this course that has a child with Asperger's syndrome. She's talked about it in class. So it's not gossip. That's what she wrote about because that's her concern and that's what she understands. The next mode is persuasion. After that, we're going to write a classification essay. We're going to write a narrative essay. We're going to write a descriptive essay, and just sort of hang on to your hats. They take different forms. See you in the next video.